A 911 call shattered the morning silence in Toluca Lake, California, forever changing the narrative around one of the fashion world's most beloved figures. Kim Porter, the stunning supermodel and mother of Sean Diddy Combs' children, was found unresponsive in her bed at just 47 years old.
Model and longtime girlfriend of entertainer Sean Diddy Combs, Kim Porter, was laid to rest yesterday in her hometown of Columbus, Georgia. Funeral taking place at Cascade Hills Church. Porter leaves behind 3 children with Combs and an older son by singer Al B. Shore. Celebrity pastor T.D. Jakes did the eulogy for the funeral. Porter was found dead in her Los Angeles home last Thursday.
The authorities quickly ruled it natural causes, but that official conclusion has since ignited a firestorm of conspiracy theories, explosive allegations, and calls for justice that refuse to die down. Kim Porter wasn't just another celebrity casualty. She was a successful model who graced the covers of Essence and Jet magazines, a devoted mother of 4, and the longtime love of one of hip-hop's most powerful moguls.
So excited. I'm only here because my mother is on the cover of the runway, so I'm supporting my mom.
Your mom is on the cover?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mama.
Wow.
My mama.
And I'm the mother of the daughter.
Yeah, come here.
Hello.
Hello. This is my daughter.
That's your daughter.
Yes.
Well, now, come on, Mom. Both of you guys stay together.
But behind the glamorous facade lay a relationship marked by alleged abuse, infidelity, and control that some believe may have ultimately cost her life. Born on December 15, 1970, in Columbus, Georgia, Kimberly Annette Porter embodied Southern grace and big city ambition. After graduating high school in 1988, she moved to New York City to pursue modeling, quickly establishing herself in the fashion world with campaigns for major brands like Tommy Hilfiger and appearances in music videos. Porter's life changed forever when she met Sean Combs at Uptown Records, where she worked as a receptionist. At the time, Combs was just an ambitious intern, but their connection was immediate and intense. What began as workplace attraction evolved into a tumultuous on and off relationship spanning over a decade. The couple's relationship was marked by extreme highs and devastating lows. Porter gave birth to their son Christian in 1997, but their happiness was short-lived. While Porter was pregnant, rumors surfaced about Combs' affair with Jennifer Lopez. The betrayal was public and humiliating, forcing Porter to navigate heartbreak under the scrutiny of tabloid headlines. During their separation in the late 1990s, Porter described feeling trapped and monitored. She told Essence magazine that Combs would call her 50 to 60 times a day, and that it was like my life was not my own. He was very intrusive. Former Diddy bodyguard Gene Deal has provided disturbing insights into the couple's relationship dynamics. According to Deal, the control extended far beyond phone calls. He alleged that Combs would use Porter in business dealings, essentially pimping her out to potential collaborators. Deal described a pattern where Combs would arrange situations where Porter would party with men he was trying to make deals with. Roger Bonds, another former bodyguard, told DJ Vlad about witnessing physical altercations between the couple. Most shocking was Bonds' account of a 2005 yacht incident where Porter allegedly returned with a broken nose, despite Combs' claims that she had hit a table. The most dramatic confrontation occurred in the 1990s when Porter fought back against alleged abuse. Gene Deal described finding Porter with bruises and Combs in the hospital emergency room with his wrist wrapped in bandages. According to Deal, Porter had stabbed Combs with a corkscrew during a violent altercation, nearly severing an artery. Despite their toxic history, Porter and Combs maintained contact for the sake of their children. In 2003, they reconciled and welcomed twin daughters Delilah and Jessie in 2006. However, their reunion was marred by another betrayal. While Porter was pregnant with the twins, Combs fathered a daughter with Sarah Chapman, who was reportedly one of Porter's close friends. This final betrayal ended their romantic relationship permanently in 2007, though they continued co-parenting. Porter attempted to move on, dating actor Jackie Long, but according to multiple sources, Combs allegedly made threatening phone calls that ended the relationship. Friends described Porter as essentially being stuck with Combs. Actor Michael Jai White witnessed Porter taking constant phone calls from Combs, describing a dynamic where they weren't together, but it was almost like they were together. Anyone Porter attempted to date would mysteriously disappear from her life after Combs' intervention. In late October 2018, Porter was supposed to take a trip to Palm Springs with a close friend. Instead, she canceled to accompany Combs to Turks and Caicos. According to her friend, Porter returned from this trip changed. Something was off about her demeanor and energy. The friend noticed Porter looked different at Combs' birthday party, describing her appearance as somehow not herself. Days later, Porter began complaining of flu-like symptoms that would ultimately prove fatal. On November 7, 2018, Porter developed a sore throat that progressed to a 102-degree fever by November 12th. Despite testing negative for influenza and receiving antibiotics, her condition fluctuated dramatically. Her fever dropped to a normal 96 degrees the night before her death, and she spent the evening getting a massage and watching movies with her family before retiring to bed at 11:30 p.m. The next morning, Porter's goddaughter found her in bed at 8:30 a.m. but assumed she was sleeping. It wasn't until 11:30 a.m. that household members realized she wasn't responding and called 911. Several aspects of Porter's death have raised eyebrows among investigators and the public. Corey Gamble, a music industry figure known as a potential fixer for powerful people, was present at the house when Porter died. Gamble's presence seemed inexplicable to many, fueling speculation about his role in the situation. Gene Deal, the former bodyguard, made explosive claims about Combs' behavior following Porter's death. According to Deal, Combs placed Porter's body in a gold casket and stationed 24-hour security at the funeral home, preventing anyone from accessing the body for further investigation. Deal has repeatedly called for authorities to reopen Porter's case, stating, "I think that they should reopen her case and have an independent pathologist look at everything about her." Perhaps the most controversial aspect of the Porter mystery involves claims that she was writing a tell-all book before her death. In 2023, a man named Chris Todd published Kim's Lost Words: A Journey for Justice from the Other Side on Amazon, claiming it was based on Porter's unpublished manuscript. The book contains explosive allegations about Combs' behavior, including claims about inappropriate relationships with young male artists, physical abuse, and Porter's knowledge of compromising videos.
I need to know, do you think that Diddy killed Kim Porter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him, because of the tape that she used to blackmail him into a relationship and into a raise of him being sodomized by Andre Harrell. And I am not saying that allegedly, because I heard her and Kim Muir talking about it in the booth of the bathroom while snorting cocaine at the Kit Kat Club.
Hey.
However, Porter's children and close friends have vehemently denied she was writing any book, calling the publication fake and exploitative. DJ Vlad reported being approached by a former detective with an alleged 50-page manuscript attributed to Porter, but he expressed skepticism about its authenticity. Those closest to Porter describe her as loyal to the bone, and someone who would never have betrayed Combs' secrets publicly. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office ruled Porter's death as natural, caused by lobar pneumonia. However, the ruling came after her cause of death was initially listed as deferred pending investigation. Authorities stated they found no evidence of foul play, despite the mysterious circumstances surrounding her final weeks. Porter had no known history of drug abuse or serious health issues. She had traveled to Africa just a month before her death and received a clean bill of health upon her return. The Porter case has gained renewed attention following Combs' recent legal troubles and the release of surveillance footage showing him physically assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Porter's father, Jake Porter, expressed his disgust with the video, telling Rolling Stone, "I was disgusted with the video, and I wouldn't treat my dog like that." Several individuals have called for reopening Porter's case, including former associates who claim to have witnessed patterns of abuse and control. The similarities between Porter's alleged experiences and Cassie Ventura's documented abuse have only intensified public scrutiny. Kim Porter's death remains officially classified as natural causes, but the questions surrounding her final days refuse to disappear. Whether she was working on a tell-all book, what happened during her final trip with Combs, and why her health deteriorated so rapidly after years of good health may never be definitively answered. What we do know is that Porter was a devoted mother who struggled to break free from a toxic relationship with one of the most powerful men in entertainment. Her story serves as a tragic reminder of how difficult it can be for anyone, regardless of fame, beauty, or success, to escape patterns of abuse and control. The truth about Kim Porter's death may be buried with her, but her memory lives on through her children and the ongoing questions that demand answers. As more alleged victims come forward and Combs faces serious legal challenges, perhaps the full story of what really happened to Kim Porter will finally emerge from the shadows. Until then, her case remains a haunting reminder that sometimes the most dangerous person in someone's life is the one who claims to love them most.
Yes! Please welcome to my Halloween fashion gala, Anak Yai.
The fashion world crowned Anak Yai as a symbol of progress, but behind the cameras, her story tells of an industry built on exhaustion, erasure, and exploitation. What looks like glamour is survival. What looks like winning is often loss. This isn't just about one supermodel's struggle. It's about the brutal cost of beauty in a system that profits from breaking the very women it celebrates. October 2017, Howard University's homecoming weekend. A 19-year-old biochemistry student stands in denim cutoffs and a sheer turtleneck, college party debris scattered across the grass behind her. The photographer captures the moment, posts it to Instagram. Within minutes, the world loses its mind. When I first saw the number of notifications I was getting, I thought that I had become a meme, Yai recalls. I was too scared to open my phone. I was like, oh my god, everyone's gonna know. I can't go back home. She couldn't go back home. Not to the quiet life of pre-med studies and textbooks. Not to anonymity. Within 24 hours, she gained upwards of 30,000 followers. Next models flew her to New York that same day, signed her before the ink was dry on her homework assignments. The transformation was instant, violent. A college student studying the building blocks of life became a canvas for an industry that consumes lives. By 2018, she achieved what only one other black model had accomplished in over 2 decades. Naomi Campbell opened a Prada show in 1997. 21 years later, Anok Yai walked that same path. History watched. Fashion is celebrated. Progress, they called it. But progress has a price. The accolades accumulated like scars. Multiple Vogue covers. New super status on models.com. The Vetements show where a wardrobe malfunction became legend. I had a moment of panic knowing how bad the walk was going. She wrote on Instagram. I decided to go from elegant to defiant bride, hoping the character switch would work. The video went viral. Social media exploded. The drama, the creativity, the passion, the strength. One user commented. Another said, I feel like she just unlocked a new genre of art. Art built on improvisation, on turning mistakes into moments, on never letting the industry see you sweat even when you're drowning. Behind the cameras, the story is quite different, one written in racial slurs and childhood trauma. I remember the first time I was called the N-word, Yai wrote in an essay for OprahMag.com. To say I was shocked and confused would be an understatement. Elementary school, a basketball in her hands, a white man calling after her. When she ignored him, his response cut deep. I'm trying to be nice to you. This is why you people don't belong in this country. Then he had his dog chase her. She ran. Hid in a bush for half an hour. As a young immigrant of color, I thought America was supposed to be better than that. Fashion wasn't better. Black models should not have to teach working professionals how to deal with our hair and skin day in and day out, she declared. Educate yourself and come prepared. It's your job. But the industry preferred ignorance, easier to tokenize than to evolve. When her friend Karine Roitfeld, the French fashion editor, posted a photo with Yai captioned "Miss You," the comment that followed revealed everything. Anok is not a black woman. She is my friend. The erasure was complete. In trying to transcend race, Roitfeld had erased it entirely, as if friendship could whitewash identity, as if love could negate lived experience. The microaggressions multiplied. 2023 Paris Fashion Week became a nightmare. Yai was allegedly left without security or proper care while ill. The industry that built its fortune on her image couldn't be bothered to protect her body. I always had this feeling that something bigger was coming for me, she had said years earlier, before the viral photo, before the contracts, before she learned that bigger sometimes means more brutalizing. The work consumed everything. 60% of my life on a plane for modeling jobs. My least favorite part is that I have no social life, she admitted. I'm trying to learn to balance, but I'm a crazy workaholic. The isolation gnawed at her. Success meant sacrifice, but the industry never specified what would be taken. Time, privacy, the ability to exist without performance. Whenever I want to do something, I do it at 100%, she explained. And if I fail, I know there was nothing more that I could have done. But failure isn't always about effort. Sometimes it's about systems designed to exhaust you. December 2nd, 2024, the British Fashion Council Awards. Alex Consani, the 21-year-old trans supermodel, takes home Model of the Year, historic win, first out trans woman to claim the title. The fashion world celebrates progress again.
Will you please welcome modeling royalty, Ashley Graham, and the acting world's newest superstar, Nava Mao.
The 2024 Fashion Award for Model of the Year goes to Alex Consani.
Anok Yai, nominated for the second time, watches from the audience. Later, she posts a picture of Kanye West interrupting Taylor Swift at the 2009 VMAs. The message is clear without words. Then she speaks. "Alex, I love you and I'm so proud of you." British Fashion Council. "Thank you, but I don't want it anymore." The internet explodes. Critics call her graceless. Supporters call her human. She clarifies, "If you have seen the effort that I've seen Alex put in, you would understand how proud I am of her. But Alex can be proud, and I can be exhausted at the same time. It doesn't take away how much love we have for each other." Exhausted. The word hangs in the air like smoke. This is what winning looks like in modern fashion. Two women of marginalized identities forced to compete for crumbs while the industry profits from their pain. Alex Consani deserves her crown. Anok Yai deserves the same recognition. The scarcity is manufactured. But Yai refuses to be only beautiful. She paints with oils, experiments with fire, studies knife fighting as meditation. "When I'm fighting, it feels like a dance that goes so fast, you have to meditate," she explains. "Because the second you lose focus, you're hit with a knife." Fashion taught her to focus or die. She returned to South Sudan for the first time since childhood. "Before I went, I always felt like there was something missing, a void in my life, and I could never put my finger on it. Once I went home, I felt whole for the first time." Wholeness, the thing fashion promises but never delivers. She found it in dust and memory, in roots that run deeper than runway shows. "I'm at a place now where I want to create my own lane," she declares. "I don't know exactly what that is, but I know I want it to be different from anything anyone has ever seen. Different from an industry that measures worth in exhaustion, that celebrates diversity while maintaining systems of oppression, that builds empires on the bones of girls who believed beauty could save them." She works with Kahinda Wiley at BlackRock in Senegal, month-long residency, painting by the beach, creating art that doesn't require her to disappear. "I'd like the entire world to see me in a new light," she says about her artistic projects. New light, not the harsh glare of fashion photography, but something warmer, something that illuminates rather than exposes. The industry continues its charade. Brands post black squares for Black Lives Matter, then underpay black models. Designers hire diverse faces, then fail to provide basic care. Progress measured in photo opportunities rather than policy changes. "The fashion industry needs to become educated and fast," Yai warned, yet the industry seems to be depending on the black community at large to educate them about black history, as if we're obligated to do so. "The burden never lifts. Be beautiful, be grateful, be quiet, educate us, inspire us, entertain us, never complain, never tire, never be human." But humanity persists behind the cameras, in the knife-fighting lessons and painting sessions, in the exhaustion and the anger, and the refusal to accept scraps as sustenance. Anok Yai represents something fashion both craves and fears. Authenticity, the kind that can't be manufactured or purchased, the kind that tells truth even when truth isn't profitable. She stands at the crossroads of an industry in transition. Models of color demanding better treatment, trans models claiming space, the old gatekeepers losing grip on their constructed reality. The cameras will keep flashing, the shows will continue. But behind those cameras, revolution simmers, led by women who learned that survival sometimes means saying no, who discovered that beauty without dignity is just another form of violence. Do no harm can no longer be defined as do nothing at all, as she wrote. The silence that once protected careers now enables destruction. Fashion made her famous, but Anak Yai is making herself free.
Hey friend, welcome to my channel Korean Allude, where we deep dive and break down the most iconic stars in history. If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so and turn your notifications on so you never miss an upload. Now let's get into this video. Today we're finally doing Janice Dickinson. I know you guys have been requesting her for a very long time, especially for my Supermodel playlist. Check out my Supermodel playlist where we broke down several other supermodels. Many people have their own feelings about Janice, okay? Not too many people like Miss Janice Dickinson, okay? She's a lot. She can be a lot, but she is an interesting character.
This is the story of a girl who was told she'd never be beautiful and became the world's first supermodel. February 16th, 1955, Brooklyn, New York. A girl named Janice Doreen Dickinson is born into violence. Her father, Ray Dickinson, beats her daily, calls her worthless, ugly, says she'll never amount to anything. By age 8, she's watching him sexually abuse her sister. By 11, she's planning escape routes. By 15, modeling seems like the only door out of hell. Fast forward to November 18th, 2014. Janice Dickinson sits across from Entertainment Tonight. She's about to break 32 years of silence, about to say the name that will destroy what's left of her career. The fallout is instant. Death threats, lawsuits. The fashion world that once worshipped her turns away completely. But here's what nobody understood. Staying silent was already killing her. Let's go back. 1972. Janice wins Miss High Fashion Model Contest. The prize includes a trip to Paris. She's 17, ready to conquer fashion. First stop, Ford Models. Eileen. Ford takes one look. Too ethnic. Those lips. We can't work with those. She actually used a racial slur about Janice's lips. The most powerful woman in modeling just told her she's too ugly to work. Janice's response: "Fuck you, lady. Walk out." First authority figure she'd ever stood up to.
And I stayed there 3 months, going after appointment after appointment after appointment, doors slamming in my face. No one wanted to take my picture. No one wanted to give me work. So I was trying to imitate all these models in the magazines with these sultry, passionate looks on their face, selling, let's say, lipstick or perfume, looking very deep, dark, and mysterious. Like that. I thought to myself, Christ blood, that's not me. I'm too hypertense, hyperactive.
Wilhelmina Cooper sees something different. Send her to Paris immediately. John Casablancas at Elite wants her. European photographers lose their minds. Dark features, aggressive energy, sexual power, everything American fashion feared. Within months, she's on every European magazine cover. Vogue Paris, Elle, Marie Claire. The girl Ford rejected is suddenly fashion's hottest commodity. Return to New York. The same agencies are now begging. Her rate, $2,000 a day in 1978, when top models made $500. Here's what made Janice different. She wasn't just wearing clothes, she was revolutionizing the movement itself.
Her body and face have sold oceans of perfume and miles of lace.
Watch your neck, Janice. Watch your neck. Try to get a position where it doesn't do that. There you go. Good.
Dickinson will pose in skimpy lingerie. It's twice the money. She's a realist about modeling and plays it for what it's worth. million a year.
Hang on.
That iconic hand-on-hip pose every model does, Janice invented it. The fierce facial expressions, her creation, aggressive sexuality, all Janice. Before her models were mannequins. Stand still, it looks pleasant. Don't have opinions. Janice brought personality, danger, actual human emotion. Her manager says, "You need to slow down. You're not Superman." "I'm not Superman." Janice replies, "I'm a supermodel." She just invented the term. About herself, the media mocks her for years. Now every model wants the title she created. But what did supermodel mean to Janice? Not just beauty, power, setting your own rates, choosing your photographers, controlling your image. She fought for everything, negotiated like a CEO, walked away from bad deals. Models didn't do that in the 70s. They showed up, shut up, got paid what they were given. 37 Vogue covers. Not American Vogue. They never fully accepted her. International editions couldn't get enough. Italy, France, Britain, Germany. Every country except her own. Cosmopolitan made her their signature face. 5 covers. Francesco Scavullo, who shot them, called her the ultimate Cosmo girl. Versace, Valentino, Calvin Klein. They all wanted the girl Eileen Ford said would never work. The party scene was insane. Studio 54 wasn't just a nightclub, it was a pharmacy with a dance floor. Cocaine served like cocktails, Quaaludes handed out like mints. Janice dove in head first. Warren Beatty, Mick Jagger, Sylvester Stallone, Jack Nicholson. The conquests were public, messy, legendary. I was self-medicating, she'd admit decades later. Childhood trauma doesn't disappear with success. 3 marriages, all disasters. Ron Levy, divorced. Simon Fields had her son, Nathan, divorced. Alan Gersten locked her in a closet, held a gun to her head demanding to know everyone she'd slept with. She started listing celebrities just to survive. Divorced. Money vanished fast. Millions earned. Nothing saved. Cocaine isn't cheap, neither is champagne or plastic surgery. The surgery started at 32. Dating Stallone. Noticed her first wrinkle. Panicked. Facelift. Then another. Breast augmentation. Tummy tuck. Trying to freeze time. Everything about me is fake, and I'm perfect. She'd titled her second book. At least she owned it. Modeling career transitioning, television beckoning. Bill Cosby calls personally, "I want to mentor you, help your acting career, America's dad offering guidance." Who says no to that? Lake Tahoe, his hotel room, private meeting about her future. Wine appears, a blue pill offered. "This will help you relax for the camera," he says. Next thing she remembers, pain. Weight on top of her, can't move her arms. I can't speak, paralyzed. Cosby raping her while she's conscious but helpless. Morning comes. He acts normal, casual, sends her away with his agent like nothing happened. She tells her manager immediately. His response? "Forget it happened. Cosby owns this town. He'll destroy you." She tries telling others. Same response. "You're a wild party girl. He's America's dad." Who'll they believe? So she stays quiet, mostly. Writing her autobiography, No Lifeguard on Duty, she includes the Cosby assault. Full chapter, every detail. HarperCollins lawyers read it. Panic. "Remove this immediately. He'll sue us into bankruptcy. You have no proof." The book publishes. Truth deleted. Cosby's lawyers win without lifting a finger. Meanwhile, her career morphs. Reality TV explodes. Janice becomes fashion's Simon Cowell on America's Next Top Model. 4 seasons. Brutal honesty is her trademark. Makes contestants cry. Fights with Tyra Banks, especially about plus-size models. Tyra fires her, replaces her with Twiggy. Too harsh, they said. Translation, too honest. More reality shows follow. The surreal life fights Omarosa. Celebrity rehab admits addiction. I'm a celebrity, eats bugs for money. The public sees crazy Janice, drama, chaos, desperation. What they don't see, a rape survivor self-medicating. A woman carrying trauma nobody will let her discuss. Breast cancer diagnosis. She fights publicly, beats it, barely. Finally gets sober. 30 years of numbing ending. The pain underneath is excruciating. Still, nobody knows about Cosby. That secret is eating her alive. October 2014, comedian Hannibal Buress calls Cosby a rapist during a stand-up routine. Goes viral. Women start coming forward. Andrea Constant, Beth Ferrier, Barbara Bowman. The dam is breaking. Janice watches from home. These women tell her story. Her exact story. November 18th, 2014. She can't stay silent anymore. Books Entertainment Tonight interview. Tell everything. The wine, the blue pill, the paralysis, the rape, the cover-up. Names Cosby directly. Within hours, Cosby's lawyers attack. Defamation lawsuit filed, calling her a liar, an extortionist. Death threats flood in. You're destroying an innocent man. Gold-digging whore. Attention-seeking has-been. Fashion industry friends vanish. Bookings cancelled. She's radioactive. Again. But this time, she's not alone. More women emerge. 20, 30, 50. Eventually over 60 women with identical stories. Janice gives depositions. Under oath, every detail is consistent. Lawyers attack her credibility. Drug addict, alcoholic, multiple failed marriages, mental health issues, plastic surgery addict. Using her honesty against her. Every flaw she'd admitted publicly now a weapon. She doesn't back down. Can't back down. Truth is truth. Legal bills mount. Hundreds of thousands. Work opportunities disappear. Friends ghost her. But something's shifting. Public opinion is changing. Hashtag #MeToo movement building. April 26, 2018. Bill Cosby convicted. 3 counts aggravated indecent assault. 3 to 10 years prison. Janice at the courthouse, crying, not celebrating, just exhausted. 36 years since the assault, 32 years of silence, 4 years of public torture. I almost died keeping this secret, she tells reporters. June 30th, 2021. Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturns conviction. Technicality. Cosby walks free. Janice speaks out again. He's guilty. Everyone knows it. The system failed. She won't stop talking. Truth matters more than comfort. Dated famous men, Stallone, Beatty, Jagger. Everyone knew she wasn't hiding. Wrote 4 books, started companies, made jewelry, built an agency, survived an awful childhood. Dad hit her, sister got abused, mom did nothing. Got plastic surgery, admitted it. Had an addiction, went to rehab publicly, bad marriages, told everyone. She told every secret, except Cosby. He was too powerful, could ruin her, and he almost did. Fashion acts like Janice never existed. No documentaries, no credit, nothing. Married a doctor at 61, finally found peace. Still working at 70, fashion left her behind. Forgot what she did, erased her story. Janice showed that pretty women get hurt too. Powerful men do bad things, business protects them. She talked when no one listened, fought alone, survived when they wanted her gone. First supermodel? Yes. First to survive telling hard truths? Absolutely. Every model who speaks up today follows her path. Every survivor uses her courage. She didn't just wear clothes, she showed what truth costs in a lying business. Cosby hurt her one night. The cover-up lasted 30 years, but she got her story back. That's the real revolution. Did fashion erase Janice on purpose? Does she deserve credit? Tell Elite Heaven below. Subscribe for more hidden fashion truths.
What would you do to get him?
Grab him and take him.
You grab him and take him.
Take him. Like that.
She was told she was too dark to sell and unmarketable, words that would have broken most people. But the woman who heard these crushing rejections would go on to become one of the most iconic supermodels in history. Behind fashion's fiercest icon lay years of enduring rejection, addiction, betrayal, and watching her entire world crumble before rising to legendary status. Before we talk about this shocking story, you need to see this clip that changed everything. The moment Grace Jones slapped a TV host live on air. That slap wasn't just about rudeness. It was decades of pain exploding in one powerful moment.
It's going on too long already.
Well, it's not. It's only going to go on in about another 6 minutes, and you're going to have another little part of it soon.
Well, maybe I should go right now.
No, don't go right now unless you really want to.
Well, don't turn your back on me anymore.
I can't look at you. Now, hold on, just a moment. Just a moment.
Move your chair back a bit or something.
This is the real story of Grace Jones, the hidden horrors behind the fierce facade that made her a legend. Let's go back to where the nightmare began. Jamaica, 1948. Grace Beverly Jones wasn't born into glamour. She was born into fear. Picture a little girl living with strict Pentecostal grandparents who saw sin in everything. No dancing, no makeup, no pants for girls, definitely no dreams of anything beyond church walls. This wasn't just strict parenting. This was psychological prison. Grace grew up believing that wanting to look beautiful was evil, that expressing herself was wrong. When she secretly collected costume jewelry or stole glances at fashion magazines. She wasn't just being rebellious, she was committing what her family called spiritual treason. The horror of growing up thinking your own desires make you evil, that stays with you forever. At 13, Grace moved to New York, hoping for freedom. Instead, she found her parents had become ministers too. The rules followed her across the ocean like a curse she couldn't escape. By 18, Grace walked into modeling agencies in New York with hope in her heart. What she got instead was a masterclass in cruelty. Agents looked at her 5 feet 8 inches frame, her angular features, her beautiful dark skin, and said words that would haunt anyone. Thanks, but no thanks. But it got worse. Much worse. When Grace tried Paris in 1970, thinking a new city meant new chances, agents were even more brutal. One agent looked her directly in the face and said, "I can't sell you. You're too dark." Imagine being told your skin color makes you damaged goods. Imagine being 22 years old and hearing that your very existence is unmarketable. That's not rejection. That's systematic dehumanization. Grace shared a cramped Paris apartment with 2 other struggling models, Jerry Hall and Jessica Lange, 3 future icons surviving on hope and whatever scraps the fashion world threw their way. They had no idea they were living with future legends because the industry made them all feel worthless. Slowly, things changed. Yves Saint Laurent took a chance. Then Kenzo. Suddenly, the face that was too dark became exactly what Paris wanted. But success in the fashion world came with its own horrors. Grace didn't just model. She fought for control on every shoot. She brought her own clothes because stylists didn't understand her. She refused to let makeup artists change her because she'd spent years being told she wasn't good enough, as she was. Fashion photographers from that era later admitted something chilling. She scared us a little. Think about that. Grown men in positions of power were intimidated by a woman who simply refused to be diminished. By the late 1970s, Grace had transformed from model to performer at Studio 54, the most exclusive nightclub in the world. She sang French torch songs over disco beats while wearing armor-like costumes that made her look inhuman, which was exactly the point. But Studio 54 wasn't just about glamour, it was about escape through substances. Cocaine flowed like champagne, and everyone partook, including Grace. What seemed like fun at the time was actually slow-motion destruction. The woman who'd grown up banned from secular music was now the queen of nightlife, performing in cages, descending from ceilings, becoming a living piece of art. But she was also becoming addicted to the very things that would nearly destroy her. October 1981. British television, The Russell Harty Show. This is where years of being dismissed, ignored, and disrespected finally exploded. Grace sat next to the host, looking stunning and ready to promote her work. Mid-conversation, Harty turned away from her to interview another guest. What happened next became legend. Grace didn't just tap him for attention, she slapped him. Hard. Then again, and again, on live television in front of millions of British viewers. The studio audience gasped. The host tried to laugh it off, but you could see the shock in his eyes. This wasn't just a slap. This was decades of rage finally finding its target. Grace never apologized. She never explained, because that slap wasn't just about rudeness. It was about every agent who said she was too dark, every photographer who tried to control her, every person who thought they could put Grace Jones in a box. By the mid-1980s, Grace Jones was everywhere: movies, music, fashion. She starred in Conan the Destroyer and nearly stole A View to a Kill as the Deadly Mayday. She was simultaneously a supermodel, music icon, and movie star. But behind the success, she was falling apart. The cocaine that started as party fuel at Studio 54 had become her master. In 1986, she was arrested in Jamaica for drug possession. Even though the tests came back clean and charges were dropped, the wake-up call was deafening. Grace Jones, the woman who intimidated everyone, was scared. Then came an even bigger horror: betrayal from within. Her accountant, someone she trusted with everything, had been stealing from her for years. Over half her money was gone. Years of work vanished into someone else's pockets while she was too high to notice. The woman who'd built an empire discovered she'd been robbed blind by someone who smiled at her while destroying her life. But the worst was yet to come. AIDS hit the creative community like a nuclear bomb. The Studio 54 crowd, her chosen family, her creative community started dying one by one. I was depressed for 2 years watching many of my friends die. Grace later said, "Imagine building your entire world around a community of artists, dancers, photographers, and designers, then watching them disappear. Person by person, memorial after memorial. The makeup artists who'd become friends, the photographers who'd shot her most iconic images, the beautiful boys who'd made New York nightlife magic, all gone. The woman who'd spent a decade being larger than life suddenly wanted to shrink, to disappear, to stop feeling everything so intensely." By the late 1980s, Grace was in hell, broke, heartbroken, battling addiction, and watching her world collapse. The industry that had once called her unmarketable now whispered about her being difficult and unstable. The final blow came from the person who mattered most. Her son Paulo, born in 1979, looked at his mother and asked a question that shattered her. "Mommy, do you remember when you used to be fun? How come you don't laugh anymore?" That question from her child cut deeper than any rejection, any slap, any betrayal ever could. But here's what makes Grace Jones legendary. She doesn't know how to stay down. 1991. "I'm coming back in every way. I'm over this depression and I don't do drugs anymore. Not trying to come back, not hoping to come back, but I'm coming back. Period." Grace rebuilt slowly, privately. She got clean. She moved between Paris and New York, avoiding the spotlight that had nearly killed her. She took acting classes, recorded music when she felt like it, practiced yoga, and most importantly, she raised her son. The revenge was simple. She outlived, outlasted, and outinfluenced everyone who tried to destroy her. In 2008, at age 60, she released Hurricane, an album so vital and powerful that critics were stunned. This wasn't nostalgia. This was Grace Jones proving she was still ahead of the curve. 2012, Queen Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee. Grace Jones, at 64 years old, sang "Slave to the Rhythm" while hula hooping for 4 minutes straight without stopping. The crowd lost their minds because this wasn't just performance. This was proof that Grace Jones could not be contained by age, by industry expectations, or by anyone's limitations but her own. Today, Grace Jones is in her 70s, living between Paris and Jamaica, still technically married to a bodyguard she escaped decades ago because she never bothered with divorce paperwork. She's a grandmother now. And when she talks about her granddaughter, this fierce woman becomes almost tender.
Very strange features, though, for Americans, you know. They're not used. Everyone thought I have a nose job, for example.
But don't mistake that tenderness for weakness. The industry that once called her unmarketable now studies her every move. Young artists name-drop her in songs. Fashion magazines call her iconic. The agents who said she was too dark now represent models trying to capture just a fraction of her essence. Grace Jones didn't just survive the industry that tried to destroy her, she transformed it forever. Grace Jones survived every attempt to break her. Called unmarketable, she became priceless. Too strange, she became the blueprint everyone copies. She didn't just slap Russell Harty, she slapped a system that tried to silence her. The greatest revenge. She's still here, still terrifying, still Grace. An 18-year-old model fell from a 20th floor balcony in Malaysia.
And 18 was found dead on the 6th floor of Cap Square residence on December 7, 2017.
Police called it suicide. A coroner called it an accident. But 8 years later, a judge ruled it was murder and condemned the investigation as a total failure and ordered the government to pay her family over $260,000 for botching the investigation. This is the story of Ivana Smith, the predators who targeted her, and the cover-up that nearly buried the truth. Ivana Esther Roberts Smith wasn't Malaysian by passport, but ask anyone who knew her, and they'd say she was Penangite through and through. Born in the Netherlands in 1999 to Dutch-Chinese-Indonesian heritage, her life took a major turn before she even hit kindergarten. When she was just 3, little Ivana missed her grandparents so badly she literally stopped eating. Her parents, juggling hectic work schedules, made the desperate decision to put her on a plane to Penang, where her grandparents had just migrated. That's where she would spend most of her childhood, right by the beaches of Batu Ferringhi. Ivana lived the life of your overachieving, multi-talented Malaysian kid. She spoke fluent Mandarin, had a black belt in Taekwondo, played football, guitar, piano. By 13, she was already walking runways in Korea and Taiwan. Her grandpa said she collected 35 different certificates from all the courses she attended. At 15, she placed second in a Malaysian supermodel search. She shuttled between Malaysia and Europe for modeling work, but by November 2017, she was back in KL for good. She had plans. She was shortlisted for a modeling contest in Paris happening the following January 2018. But Ivana never made it to Paris. The nightclub scene in Kuala Lumpur pulses with money and danger in equal measure. November 2017, somewhere in this neon maze, Ivana Smith meets her future killers. Alex Johnson, 44, American cryptocurrency trader who'd been living in Malaysia for a decade. Luna Almazkizi, 31, his Kazakh wife. Together, they were as charming as they were wealthy, as dangerous as they were attractive. The Johnsons didn't hunt alone. They had a taste for lavish dinners, private parties, and threesomes. Lots of threesomes. From what investigators uncovered, Ivana first met the Johnsons through a mutual friend. One minute they were strangers, the next they were partying together, sending flirty texts and hooking up in five-star hotels. Luna later described their first encounter to the Daily Mail. She asked me to stand up and dance with her. We weren't kissing, but we were doing sexy moves. She was beautiful, charming, confident. I was already melting. They even set up a WhatsApp group among themselves with explicit flirting. The seduction was complete. The trap was set. December 6th, 2017. The night that would end everything began like so many others. Mantra in Bangsar first, then Nine Club. It was around sunrise when they eventually ended up back at the Johnsons' apartment at Cap Square Residence. At home, Luna said Ivana was hammered, but still joined her and her young daughter for breakfast. After sending the girl to school, the adults had sex. Luna and Alex passed out in the bedroom while Ivana stayed in the living room. At 10:15, I went back to the bedroom. When my head hit the pillow, I passed out, Luna later told investigators. The last time Luna saw her alive, Ivana was wandering around, talking to herself and giggling so. 1:25 p.m. Luna woke up. Ivana's clothes, shoes, bag and phones were still in the lounge, but she was nowhere to be seen. Strangely, this didn't alarm the Johnsons. They carried on as usual. 5 p.m. The police were knocking on their door. Ivana Smith's naked body was found on a 6th-floor balcony of Cap Square Residence. She had fallen 14 floors from the 20th floor. The Malaysian police took one look and made their first catastrophic decision. Suicide. Case closed. But the toxicology report told a different story. Cocaine, cannabis, alcohol, and PMMA, a cocktail that could knock someone unconscious. PMMA especially has effects similar to ecstasy and can cause complete disorientation. Then, real evidence surfaced. Bruises on her arms suggesting force, trauma to the back of head, grip marks. Most damning, Alex Johnson's DNA under her fingernails, not on her body, under her nails, where it gets when you're fighting for your life. Neighbors reported hearing shouting that morning. Her father later revealed strangulation marks on her throat. This wasn't suicide. This was murder, dressed up as tragedy. What happened next would be comedy if it weren't so evil. The crime scene wasn't secured. While the Johnsons were at the police station giving statements, they were allowed to call their housekeeper to clean the apartment. The police didn't just permit this, they facilitated it. Body temperature wasn't taken. Witnesses and suspects were allowed to communicate freely. The Johnsons could coordinate their stories while the investigation stumbled around them. February 8, 2018. The DNA report arrived proving Johnson was involved in Ivana's final moments. March 29, 2018. More than a month after this evidence emerged, Malaysian authorities permitted the couple to leave the country. No charges, no restrictions, no justice. While Malaysian police closed their case, Ivana's family waged war for truth. They commissioned a second autopsy in the Netherlands.